Hi guys! Today something totally different from me. Today is a vlog about my bullet journal. Bullet journaling appears to be hot, I found out last week when I read on Facebook on a post from a friend that she was bullet journaling, and I had wanted to look it up, but I didn't find time for it, so I did last week. And then I discovered that actually I have been bullet journaling all my life, only I didn't think of a clever name, what to call it. But I've always been making lists and plannings, and you know, people who know me very well, they laugh at my list making. But then I discovered a bullet journal and I looked up some videos about it, and I actually did discover a few things that I wanted to add to my journal, and that I could also incorporate all of my other planning systems into one book, which is this one. So I spent 2 days actually doing that. If you wonder how you can spend 2 days doing that, I will show you why. So this is my old system. This is 1, 2, 3 big folders, a project book, and a diary that I use for things to do lists. So this is what I use to plan and to try and have overview of what I was doing, and that wasn't really working. As you can probably imagine, I got really stressed out. I had a big tasks book in this folder. I would make long lists of tasks, of things that I had to do, and I would subdivide project into tasks and incorporate them in here. It was all a bit difficult because I also had my project book. This is for one of my projects. This is a book that I'm using for Livebook, and I was also using this to keep to record my stuff in. And then I would sometimes not know in which of the folders I would have to look, or I would even copy certain prints and incorporate them in 2 folders, which wasn't really very comfortable. I also had, I bought a block planner on Etsy, a digital block planner that I printed out. I actually bought 2, and I sort of merged them together because there were some things I missed in one, and then I missed some things in the other, and I sort of merged them to a more perfect situation. But this block planner is really fat, as you can see, and still it wasn't a complete overview of my work, so it still wasn't perfect. Then I have this, I call this my master plan, my mastermind book, in which I write, it's sort of my brainstorm book, but also a book in which I record new insights about my work. And I had also begun to start planning in this for my mastermind things, for my long-term goals. So that was source number 4. And then finally it was my diary with 1 page a day, and I would make long to-do lists in it and write down my appointments and well, 5 big books, and now just 1. I'm going to take you through it for a flip through. I'm going to share with you why I like this so much, because I think if you have a mind like mine, I am a visual person, of course. But I'm also, I wouldn't call myself chaotic. I'm not really chaotic, but my brain is spun in a way that requires a little bit more guidance here and there. So I need to make lists, and I need to have an overview. I need to make a visual for myself. So, gonna flip through it. You will find that I put sticky notes in my book. That's because there is a couple of things in there that I think are private, so that I do not yet want to share with you. So on opening, what I did is the bullet key, I adapted that to the way I like to use it. So I usually use only squares for things to do. And what I did new is add the arrows to when I didn't finish something, and I add a date for when I will do it. And there's a couple of other symbols that I use, but I don't use them as much at all. I did incorporate MIT's most important tasks. I learned that from Leonie Dawson. That really helps me decide what to do first. And what I also use is the I, which means I have to do some research. I have to look into something, get some inspiration and information. Then I have a blog post standard key. I have blog post pages, and this is what I want them to look like, what I think they will work best if I use them this way. So I can just flip them out whenever I need to. Okay, of course, there is my contents, the table of contents. I took 5 pages for it because I figured it's a 240 page book, and I will probably need quite a bit of space for that. And this is sort of the heart of a bullet journal, because when you're what I like about a bullet journal is you can put things in there when you need them. You don't have to have a fixed order. Like a diary to me is always a little bit confined, because you have the standard layout of a diary, days or weeks, and then, you know. And in this book, you simply add in it what you need and then write it down in a table of contents, and you'll find it again, because when you need it is when you're working with it. So you have the bookmark to guide you there. Okay. So then, you know, I put things in here in random order, and I did that by looking up what other people have in it. I like the bullet journal website very much, and I checked out those videos. I checked out Boho Berry. I really like what she does. And oh, I can't think of the other names anymore, but there were really a couple of really great bullet journaling YouTube channels that can help you sort this out. I started with my blog and video index, where I write down when I blogged and what the title is, and that's just to keep a bit of track. Then I have 2016 calendar and my focus, so my mission for the rest of this year. Initially I didn't want to add it because it's sort of like, it's not something I really keep in mind, a mission. But on the other hand, I thought, you know, I'm keeping this book for a focus, so I might as well write down what I want to focus on. So then I have this task list for the fall, and below that I wrote the exact dates with certain events that are happening, and this is when I'm planning my tasks. I think this to me is so visual, so I can really see what is most important, because I can lose myself sometimes in things to do, but knowing what's most important, because knowing what comes next or what comes first, or what requires the most attention, is really helpful to me. Then I have a page with for my real life workshops. Statistics. I've never ever kept statistics. I never thought, I am not really a marketing person. I am one of those classic people who think marketing is a dirty word. And no, I don't think marketing is a dirty word, but you know, I am an artist. I have an artist brain. So I always did what I felt I had to do. I didn't really check the statistics. But then on YouTube, I reached 2,000 followers a little while ago, and I was like, what? It's great, you know. But then it sort of makes me more excited now, and I'm checking quite often how many I've got, and it's kind of nice. I still have to write this down because I forgot to do that last night. And I have this quote. It's a quote that David Bowie once said: "Don't take life too seriously. You'll never get out alive." Kind of like that. Then here is the goals for the rest of 2016, which is just, you know, a couple of things I want to do on YouTube, Etsy, on marketing. Oh, marketing is actually in my book. This is seriously the hardest chapter for me. So then I have my month, and I have the Leonie Dawson planner that I never used. Or well, I did try to use it, but it didn't work for me. So I basically cut out the month and the Shining September title, and I stuck it in. And I have these 2 blog post post-it notes on there. And here is the planning for September and the activity log of what I actually did. I'm not sure I'm going to keep my activity log in this way, because I find that working on a daily basis is easier. So I might start tracking by my daily planning what I did that day, if I did more than what I planned, or if I did other things. I was sick for a couple of days. You can see I didn't do anything from 23rd until the 25th. Gratitude log. At first I didn't want to keep it because I've kept a gratitude log for quite a bit of time. But then, you know, it's something that doesn't really have my priority. Whereas I know it's important to do, but what I find even more important to do for me personally, I mean, what's more important to you is up to you, but for me, meditating is more important than this. Then there's September memories, and well, my grandmother died, so I have the obituary. Then, being a visual person, I sometimes feel very stressed, and I was like, okay, I have to try and get a good view on how I spend my time and when I have time to give to certain things. So I made this sort of color chart with every aspect of my life that I try to give a little space. But what I didn't add is my friends, family, and relaxing time. And that is sort of like things that I have to really keep an eye on, that I do contact my family, that I do contact my friends, get out and hang out with them, and plan time to relax. And that's what I wrote on the front. I have a bullet journal now because it's important to relax after hard work. Because I love hard work, and I can be a workaholic, and I really have to just, you know, set an alarm and make sure I have time to relax. Then I added a blank page with the Marianne Williamson quote, "Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure." I think this is a very important piece of text, and I've never forgotten it, so I wanted to add it just as a reminder to myself. Then there's my blog post ideas, and I'm not sharing them with you, keeping them a little secret, but this is sort of a brainstorm spread. Just to make sure that I have enough ideas to blog about. There's a giveaway tracker. I have this life book giveaway. It's open until 1 October, the 1st of October. So if you want to join, then go to my blog on www.mandyvangoeie.com. You can still join. It's a beautiful year-long art journal class. And I'm teaching there, so I can give away a lesson to somebody, and that's really wonderful. But I decided to have a giveaway tracker because, you know, I didn't do that last time, and I thought it was, when I did a new giveaway, I was trying to think of things that I could have done better, and I regretted not having tracked it. So then there is my year planning. I simply found a year calendar on calendarpedia.com or something, printed it out, and it fits. I'll say a little bit about the book that I'm working in a minute. Again, this is for visual purposes, for myself to see. I need to see the time between certain projects and stages. Then there is ideas for future bullet journals that I saw on YouTube, in Boho Berry and other bullet journal vloggers, and it's a product sale log. I only have one course online for sale now, and 2 others where I teach for other big classes. But when I have more products, I think it would be very useful, and add blog goals to monthly calendar. And I think that would make sense to plan, to sort of have a rough sketch of what I'm going to blog about that month. Books to read. Well, I have little time and I usually listen to audiobooks while painting, so I haven't really written anyone down. I'm listening to Will Fill Hall by Elizabeth Hand right now, which is really funny. Then there's a brainstorms page, two actually. Then there's a blog reference. I found that, I think Bohoberry, but I'm not sure. And I think that's very handy because she had a long list of categories and tags that she uses, and I am messy in that respect. I will think of a really good tag right now and forget it the next day. So I thought it would be really good to make an overview of that. I still have to write those down, and file reference as well concerning photos that I use on my website. It's really good to know what standards I'm using. Then there is project pages for Lifebook, for the lessons I'm teaching. Then what I did, because I basically incorporated my project book into this, but I'm doing it step by step, so I incorporate every little piece the moment I'm working on it. So I'm not showing you that. Then there is the SEO basics, search engine options, because as you know, marketing to me is sort of a dirty word still. But you know, when you take all the trouble of keeping a blog and making videos, then it sort of would be a good idea to try and do that as clever as possible and make your work available to as many people as possible. So you need to know a little bit about SEO, and I didn't know, and I'm still really green at this. So I sort of looked things up, and I wrote them down here just to help me on my blog to try and improve my SEO statistics, because that is something I have neglected all that time. So as I have these little remarks, see Bohoberry, then I see things that are really useful to me, and then I think, oh yeah, I write that down. Then there is my blog post page, and well, I have these, that's the little card that I use here. So this is sort of the template that I use for a page like that. But as you can see, I have this little sticker here that comes from one of the blog planners. And that was really good because it's a reminder. Did you add a photo? Did you add video? Did you, well, all the things that you shouldn't forget about when you're blogging. So I use that for blogs and for YouTube videos as well, so that I can, you know, remind myself to think of, you know, I can do this more professionally. Then there is my daily to-do list, my daily planner, and what I would like to do is, I will show you that in a minute. I want to write down here what I actually did. And whenever I post a blog post or a YouTube video, I use a sticker like that right here. If I didn't make a blog page, I will use a sticker here to help me remember to do all these things. Then there is a weekly overview. So I have this, I think I copied from Bohoberry for sure. She has a time-specific column and a day-specific column, which is really, again, sort of a visual aid for me to see what, you know, what things are really important to think of at a certain time. Then I have my social media overview. I took this one, I cut it out of a blog planner as well and chucked it in right here so that I could see my social media activity in a week. And I have these projects that are going on right now, and this helps me to keep this in mind. So it is here again, even though it's also in the front of my book, but I really need to constantly remember that I still have this to do. So every time I get really enthusiastic about something that I want to get straight on, I have to remember, but this comes first and then I can do the other thing. So that really is helpful to me, to constantly remind myself. Then there is a few habits I wanted to track, so meditation and walking. Well, I have organized it differently for the next week because this was my first week. Then I attended a live talk on YouTube and took notes and wrote them down here. And then I started right under that with the new daily planner. And here I fell ill, so I moved everything to the next page, every task. So here is my week where I'm at right now. As you can see, I'm planning only one day ahead, sometimes two, but in this case just one day, because I had quite a bit planned for today, and I decided to see how far I would get. Here is where I want to write down the activities that I did, so keep a small log on the things I did, if they were different than what's in here. And maybe some experiences, how I experience things. Right, then we're moving on to the weekly overview of this week. And this is a page that I cut out of another diary I never used. I always buy too many diaries, and then I end up hardly using them, because they were never the proper method for me to work on. And I bought this diary because it had lots and lots of pages for note-taking, but still it wasn't perfect. So I cut out these pages and I simply stick them in, and then I have two columns. So I have the time specific column and the day specific column, which is good. So then I have the project overview again. I have my work project, they're going on, my home projects, and my personal projects. I'm crocheting a blanket. That's a huge project. So, you know, keeping track of all these things. Then there's habits I'm tracking, and I didn't want to do this at first because I thought it was going to be stressful. But then I thought, on the other hand, to keep track of the things that you really think are important to do. So I meditated already today, but I might do it again later, so I might have to add twice. And, well, walking, no news watching, and no Facebook. I'm trying to keep away from Facebook for a little while because I have a lot to do and it's too distracting. So I will try to go there for 50 minutes a day to just reply on things that need quick replying. And again, the social media overview, and I already know that Wednesday is my birthday, but it's also the day that I have to do something important, so I will not have the time to do anything that day. So I crossed it out immediately, so that I will know visually again for me, okay, that day is a no social day, so I will have to try and plan my days around that in a comfortable way. And then I'm moving on to the October planning, and again I cut out from Leonie Dawson's planner, and below that, because in my previous month for September, it's all the way in the front somewhere, I had my September planning and my activity log. I decided to skip the activity log and to insert that into the daily business, but now I have my October goals and my October planning. So I write down the things that are really important to do. As you have probably noticed, my bullet journal is in English and in Dutch, and that's because I think in English and in Dutch, and I have a hard time choosing what language to use. And like a day like this, I have made 2 English videos, so I will be thinking a lot of English. Okay, a little about the book that I'm using for my bullet journal. This is a Cangini Filippi Paros notebook. It's an Italian notebook, very good quality. It's got a really nice elastic band for your pen. It's got this this little folder to keep your to keep some papers in. It's got this area to write your name and address in the front. And the paper quality is better than the Moleskine books. And in the Netherlands, the price of these, the Moleskine is a lot smaller, and I think it's not as good as the Cangini Filippi. And this is a little bit more expensive, the Moleskine, than the Cangini Filippi. So I don't know what it's like in the rest of the world, but to me that makes this the definite winner. Also, I like it size-wise a lot, because I also ordered the Leuchtturm official bullet journal. And I have yet to use it, so I can't share my experiences yet. But as you can see, it's quite a bit smaller. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a problem. But what I like about the size of my Cangini Filippi is that when I print out an A4 printable somewhere, that I can just cut off the excess paper and stick it right onto my page and it will fit. So that makes this really nice to me. And then there is still, when you look at the year calendar, it's still got, you know, the lines are big enough to write something on. You don't have to condense it too much. That being said, I think the Leuchtturm is a little bit fatter. I think it's got a little bit more pages in this. And I'm kind of looking forward to using this as well. The reason why I used my Cangini Filippi instead is because I had ordered this one when I decided to start bullet journaling. And the online store I bought it at was going to deliver in 1 or 2 days, but then they gave me sent me a message saying it was going to take at least 11 more days. So then I decided to go for the book that I already had. And because the lines are so close together, when you have a ruler like this with these squares, it's really easy to draw lines with your pencil and create the boxes that you need if you do need them. So to me, this book right now is, I think it's going to be my the book that I'm going to keep working in. Leuchtturm also has a master size book, but that is really, really big. I ordered a 2017 academic week planner. I ordered that right along with this one, so it came in a little bit late. And I am so afraid that this is going to be another book I'm not going to use. So I have to think this over or sell it on or something. But as you can see, this one is really huge. This book is very comfortable on my desk, but this book is, well, I can't even get it to fit in the video screen right now. It's really, really, really big, huge. So I find this a bit too difficult to work with on a daily basis. And then this is the smaller size. So size-wise, I would go for one of these and not for the master. They have these dotted master size notebooks that can be used for bullet journaling, but no, I think I'm going to stick to well, either one of these. So, well, I hope that my video added something to all the videos that are already online about bullet journaling, and that you as a creative person probably find some interest in the bullet journal, and you know, maybe it can help you get started to organize your work a little bit better so that you actually have time to relax after hard work. Thank you very much for watching, and see you again in my next video. Bye!